Roadhouse. The new Roadhouse movie that's been out for about a week or two as I'm making this video is incredibly entertaining. I can't believe I waited a whole week to see this movie. And this is the weekend that Kong x Godzilla came out. And I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't think I would be talking about movies on my channel, because the last time I did that on my last channel and I took it down because I just wasn't feeling it anymore. Now here and there, I'm gonna start talking about some movies here and there. Like I honestly love movies. I know a lot when it comes to movies. I'm gonna start talking about any releases that start coming out, any movies in particular. If I go to the theater, I'm thinking about making a video about that in itself. But talking about Roadhouse, I loved this movie. This movie was just off the rails action, and I loved it. Look, this is the movie that is off the rails. Is it cheesy? Yes. Is it stupid at times? Yes. Is it over the top? Yes. But man, do I love it. And honestly, my favorite movies are from the 80s, right? I love 80s action movies because nowadays we don't really get that anymore, right? We don't really get action movies like that, and if they do, it's always really super over the top to the point where they take itself too seriously. It's always stuck with visual effects nowadays. Nothing's really practical as much anymore, right? Not that they don't do it at all, but it's not as much anymore compared to back then. I'll be honest with you, a lot of what movies are nowadays are just pretty much the same thing now because people keep going to see them, mainly like sci-fi, superhero movies and stuff like that. And honestly, the genre is just boring now. It's boring, and yet they keep making them because they know it makes money. I mean, some I'm excited to see here and there, but it just gets so boring. I'm just like, it's the same thing, and people keep going to see this crap. Why? I don't understand. And then now we had a remake come out called Roadhouse, and I'm going to talk about that. I hate remakes and sequels and prequels to anything. Why? Because the majority of the time, they're never good. Let's be real. The majority of the time, they'll try to remake a classic and it's not good. They'll have a good film that's made, that's done pretty well, and they ruin that by making a sequel. And then if the movie is already having something going on and they want to try to come up with something that happened beforehand, they have to make a prequel. And most of the time they ruin it. They ruin the aspect of the film that was made perfectly that could have been on its own by having to do more because they just want to cash in. Studios love doing that, and I hate that. And when Roadhouse came out, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about Roadhouse. Well, that's an old 80s movie. It came out, what, like in 88, 89, I think? And I saw the film. It's not perfect. It's honestly a dumb film, but I mean, it's just a movie you want to see if you want to see like just manly, like kick-ass action, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those movies, right, from the 80s where it's just action just because. So it's not a film to take seriously. And when I saw the way how they promoted this film, it was interesting. When I saw that it was Jake Gyllenhaal in the lead, I was like, Jake Gyllenhaal, you know he's a good actor. But the fact that this remake, I don't know. The way how things are nowadays, right? They modernize remakes, and it gets to a point where it's not even about the film itself or remake. It's always about putting something in there to put in your face, and you're like, really? Why is this here? This has nothing to do with it. But in this film, I'm glad to say there is none of that. I haven't been this excited since Top Gun Maverick. That movie was just a movie. Here, this is a dumb movie, but it's a movie. And I love it. So let me talk about it. Roadhouse, the remake, is it over the top? Absolutely. But it has fun with itself, and that's what I appreciate the movie for. Jake Gyllenhaal's character is basically a cartoon. He does things that I'm like, I don't know about that, really? Come on, man. And Jake Gyllenhaal in general put in a lot of work into this film. His physique shows when he's in the film, right? Like, he put time and effort. He put so much time and effort into his performance that he actually did a UFC fight. And the fight that's in the film that has to do with a flashback, they actually did in real life during a UFC event where they were actually in the octagon in front of a live audience doing the scene, and people actually took it as a real fight, right? So that's pretty cool to see that. That's in my opinion what you would call some method acting right there, and I really do like Jake Gyllenhaal for doing that. Jake Gyllenhaal performance is pretty calm, collective. He rarely gives outbursts of anger except for like one scene, right? But the whole entire time he's pretty calm. There's a scene where he literally gets stabbed and he just, oh, hey man, you left your knife. He's just like, you left your knife right here, you want it back? And then the guy just runs away. And I'm like, oh, we're doing that. Okay. Like, he's trying to be over the top macho, but yet it kind of works for this character because there are fight scenes in this movie where anybody will be mad and Jake is just calm. He's just calm throughout the whole time. Like, he doesn't show anger. He's not, like, he doesn't show any type of emotion at times other than just smiling at people. There's times where somebody will be over the top mad and he just approaches them like, hey man, like, you okay? You alright? You want to calm down? And the fight scenes here, they're very unique. There is a fight scene where Jake Gyllenhaal like comes up across his gang at the Roadhouse bar and he beats the living crap out of them, obviously. But he does it in a way where it doesn't involve punching or kicking. He literally just slaps and slaps and slaps the living crap out of them. And then after he beats the crap out of him, he takes them to the hospital. And he starts talking to the nurse. Yeah, they need medical attention. He has a broken arm. He has a concussion. And I was like, what? So stupid. I love it. You don't see stuff like that. And then the biggest thing of this film, Conor McGregor. I'm a huge fan of Conor McGregor, right? He hasn't been in anything for a while, but I mean, he is a great fighter in boxing, or especially in UFC, right? Being in the octagon. And when they had him in this movie, at first I wasn't about it, but then I thought, you know what? It makes sense. For something like Roadhouse, you're going to want to have an athlete of some kind, you know, in boxing or UFC or kickboxing or whatever, right? To do a film like this. It's a movie that revolves around fighting. And when they have Conor McGregor, you know, Conor McGregor is pretty over the top even in real life, right? Like, there's one thing people know about Conor McGregor is that he's really good at talking shit. That's the thing about Conor McGregor, right? And here in this film, I was a little skeptical, mainly because of the fact that most athletes that try to do filmmaking don't really work when it comes down to just acting in general. Here, for Conor McGregor, it works. There are so many scenes where he did some stuff and I was just laughing my ass off. Like, you could tell he was having fun with the film.
Hey, fellas. Looks like you're having a smashing night. Dalton! I got a tip for you. Don't let no one get this close.
And one thing that I do like about this film is that Conor McGregor even helped choreograph some of the fight scenes here.
Something to him, man. I guess I fucked up your leg or something. Looks like I fucked up your leg.
You're a shit driver.
Yeah, so my full shot is a jab, and you're shabs him. Boom. So, boom. Yeah, and then boom, boom. Yes. Boom. Boom. Good. Now
There was a scene where Jake Gyllenhaal's character and Conor McGregor are fighting. It revolved around this truck. Jake Gyllenhaal's character is trying to smack him with this car door, and Conor McGregor punches him in the face, but there's a window in the way, so he just punches through the window to get to Jake Gyllenhaal's face like it was nothing. He just broke it like it was nothing. Now, towards the end of the movie, it gets really cheesy, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it gets a little too over the top, but yeah, it doesn't take away from the movie, and I really did enjoy it. And one thing that I will say that I really do enjoy about the film is its cinematography. The way how they filmed some of these fight scenes was very unique. There's even one scene where they even did it in first person, and I was like, oh wow, like I didn't expect that at all. But the way how they did it, it wasn't even shaky cam. I got worried about that because there's one thing I do hate is shaky cam. When they try to do that back then, especially one film in particular, like Jason Bourne Supremacy. I remember that film, right? That film got me dizzy at times because the way how they choreographed some of the fights, right? It was so shaky and so up close. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, what? Like, it's so over the top. Here, there's none of that. There's not too much shaky cams. The camera just at times panels around them, but it's not to a point where it takes it away, and I appreciate the film for that. I would just say that this film is absolutely enjoyable. I would give this film an 8 out of 10. I really would, because it's a film I want to see again. You know, I'm so mad that I didn't see it when it came out. And again, this came out while Kong x Godzilla came out. And even though I love talking about monster movies, right, or seeing them, I just didn't care about that film because already I'm hearing mixed things about it. But regardless, I'd rather see Roadhouse than Kong vs. Godzilla. That's how much I enjoyed the film. And it's one of those remakes that just worked. I love it. Now, it does hint at perhaps making a sequel. I'll be real, I hope not. Just because I don't know if they're going to be able to make it the same way. If they do, again, stuff like that's rare nowadays because the majority of what they bring out there isn't very good anymore. But if they can actually pull it off, I'll be happy about it. But only time will tell. Other than that though, versus Roadhouse. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. I kind of wish it was more of a theatrical release, and it was supposed to be, but I guess something happened behind the scenes to the point where it wasn't, so it ended up becoming an Amazon Prime exclusive. I hate exclusives, but that's where you gotta see it. And I would just say Roadhouse is worth it. It's a fun time. It's not a film to take too seriously, but it's a movie where if you want to pass the time and you want to have a good time watching, it's Roadhouse. I absolutely love Roadhouse, and I would highly recommend you watch this film. Other than that, Loverse, if you like what you saw, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification for more content as always. Look forward to the next video, Verse, and with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Later, Verse.